ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday morning, September the 25th. Quite an active scene in the Atlantic Basin. We still have three systems to deal with. Gabrielle is certainly no threat to the U.S. It is racing to the east, probably going to impact the Azore Islands and then Portugal over the next couple of days. Meanwhile, there is now a newly named tropical storm, Humberto, that likely stays out over the Atlantic Ocean, but is the third system that is now in the Caribbean, right over Dominican Republic of the island of Hispaniola. Certainly looks like it could be right around the southeastern U.S. coastline sometime early next week, perhaps the Carolinas. Several days ago, we talked about a potential hurricane threat for the U.S. East Coast next week. It looks like there is that possibility. Still a lot of details to get through here over the next couple of days, but it looks like possibility of a tropical storm or a hurricane somewhere near the Carolina coastline early next week. But we'll talk about a lot of the factors involved and why this is a difficult forecast since we have two tropical systems that are rather close to each other. Before we get to the tropical scene, just a quick look at the radar map across the nation. Big news in the mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S., soaking rainfall. Many areas last night along that D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City corridor received some torrential rainfall, and numerous showers and embedded thunderstorms will take place today throughout the mid-Atlantic region into tonight. Low pressure has formed over the Ohio Valley, and it will move to the north and east over the next several hours along a stalled out frontal boundary zone. And we currently have a wide area of showers and thunderstorms, and that, again, will move slowly to the north and east. So through the night tonight, we could have significant rainfall, again, in the I-95 corridor region, all the way up into New England here over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. Well, let's take a look at the tropical scene in the Atlantic Basin, again using the GOES East satellite imagery. It transitions from infrared to visible depending on the time that the sun comes up here from the east to the west. First of all, Gabrielle, still a hurricane, maximum sustained winds right now about 85 miles per hour. It has weakened as it moves over some cooler waters of the North Atlantic. Hard to tell, but right here there's an island chain called the Azores, and certainly Gabrielle will have an impact there. A little farther to the east is Portugal and Spain, and the remnants of what at that time is likely to be a much weakened state of Gabrielle could have an impact on Portugal, but certainly the Azores will be impacted quite a bit here over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. Meanwhile, this is the newly named tropical storm called Humberto. It looks like this system stays out over the open waters of the Atlantic, but it is rather close to this third system right here, Dominican Republic. Haiti is to the left here. This is called the island of Hispaniola. And here is the third system that is not yet named, but it has a very good chance of becoming a named tropical storm over the next few days. It would become Imelda, and this is the system that could end up right here, somewhere along the Carolina coastline early next week. We'll just have to continue to monitor the situation over the next few days, but these two will certainly have an interaction with each other, kind of tend to dance around each other for a while. This one, again, likely to stay out over the open waters of the Atlantic. It is this one that is of some concern for sure over the southeastern U.S. coastline here. Whether it then makes a turn up the coast, too early to say. There's that possibility. There's also a possibility that it will kind of run into a brick wall in the atmosphere as it tries to push to the north due to very, very strong high pressure that will be dropping into southeastern Canada. So here are the systems of interest here. Again, tropical storm Humberto, and yet to be named a system that will likely become tropical storm Imelda over the next few days. Let's take a walk through the Canadian model run from last night at 0Z. I think this has a little better handle on the situation compared to the GFS model from last night. We'll just talk about here some of the key players involved here. We're looking at the 500 millibar height anomaly forecast maps. First of all, an important trough situated over the central Mississippi Valley as we begin the day here on Thursday, September 25th, and a lot of orange surrounding it. That's higher heights than normal, higher pressures than normal, and this is in fact a key player that could ultimately dictate where that third system ends up going by early next week. So let's move forward here, and what basically happens is this trough kind of deepens and slides towards the Carolina coastline by the middle part of the upcoming weekend. And then it kind of becomes intertwined with this third system. By this time, this certainly will be a tropical storm, Imelda, potentially a hurricane sometime over the upcoming weekend. Here's the Carolina coastline. And again, we have this trough here. And notice the distance here, quite small, quite a short distance here between Humberto and what will become Imelda. And he's kind of doing a rotation around each other, kind of a dance around each other. But right now it appears that this system stays out over the open waters of the Atlantic, and this system has a chance of reaching the Carolina coastline either as a tropical storm or a hurricane early next week. Now, that trough tends to just become kind of fully absorbed by this tropical system here. May play out that way. We'll have to wait and see. Notice here, very strong ridging starting to pop up over south central Canada into the Great Lakes region early next week. That could ultimately kind of put a brick wall in the atmosphere up over the northeastern states and kind of halt the northward progress of what will be Imelda by this time. This is the middle of next week. And again, we have very high heights here over southeastern Canada. This is all the way out to a week from right now, next Thursday, October the 2nd. The reflection at 500 millibars puts the tropical system still way down here near the Carolina coastline. It does not have that ability to move up into the mid-Atlantic or northeast U.S. That is a scenario. It's not written in stone by any means. There certainly is a chance that this could move farther north here. Meanwhile, far off to the east, the remnants of Humberto. Again, it looks like Humberto stays out over the open waters, but it's this third system here that will become Imelda that certainly can have an impact on the southeastern U.S. and specifically Carolina coastline, maybe from South Carolina and North Carolina, has to monitor this situation rather closely. Now let's walk through the surface forecast maps, again using the Canadian model run from last night. I just think it has kind of a better handle on the tropical situation here. These maps, by the way, from tropicaltidbits.com. And here is that soaking rainfall showing up here on the surface forecast map in greens and yellows. This is a low pressure system over the Ohio Valley that is kind of riding up along a stalled out and slow moving frontal boundary zone. Certainly can be embedded thunderstorms, even the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms anywhere in the Mid-Atlantic region later today into tonight, and that threat extends all the way up into the northeast U.S. But a nice, beneficial soaking rainfall for many areas of the Mid-Atlantic, northeast U.S. here over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. Now we'll move forward here. It stays somewhat unsettled in the northeastern part of the nation on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with a chance for a few showers each day in the Mid-Atlantic region, in the northeast U.S., certainly not all-day rainfalls. And here we go now into the upcoming weekend. Here is the Saturday forecast map with that system that should become Imelda somewhere over the Bahamas. Again, right now over the Dominican Republic area of the island of Hispaniola in the Caribbean Sea, the northern islands of the Caribbean. And here we go by Saturday morning. Strong high pressure over southeastern Canada. And here is what will become Imelda. Again, likely to become tropical storm and perhaps even a hurricane. And then it kind of dances around with this partner here. This is Humberto by this time on Sunday night. And this is what will be potentially Hurricane Imelda by this time. Here's the Carolina coastline, of course. And This particular model run moves this system into the Carolinas by the early part of next week, the Monday, Tuesday time frame. Again, looks like Humberto stays out over the open waters of the Atlantic, but plays a key role in that interaction between these two, and the interaction between these two and that upper level trough are the key ingredients here to finally dictate the ultimate path of these systems. But here is the forecast map by early Tuesday of next week. And then we have this tremendous high right here over southeastern Canada starting to build in, both at the surface and in the upper part of the atmosphere. It just may stop this from moving to the north by the early or middle part of next week. In fact, that's kind of what happens here with this Canadian model run. Again, that's not set in stone. Things can change here, but it is a plausible scenario that this very, very strong high-pressure system tends to kind of put a roadblock in the atmosphere for this system to advance north from the Carolinas into, let's say, the Middle Atlantic or northeast U.S. Meanwhile, notice here, still a very strong storm here, a hurricane. Humberto, again, stays out over the open waters of the Atlantic. This is all the way out to Wednesday of next week, going a little bit farther in time, all the way out to a week from right now. And here is a week from today, what is likely to become a tropical storm and then likely Hurricane Imelda, still sitting over the Carolinas here again with a tremendous high pressure area moving into the northeastern part of the U.S. and southeastern part of Canada. So a lot going on. Soaking rainfall for the Middle Atlantic region, northeast U.S. That's a beneficial rainfall, by the way, because it's been relatively dry over the last couple of months. All that associated with low pressure moving along the stalled out frontal boundary zone. Meanwhile, we have a newly named tropical storm, Humberto, likely stays out over the Atlantic Ocean, but it is its third system that should become tropical storm Imelda, and then ultimately Hurricane Imelda could have an impact in the Carolinas during the early part of next week. That's it for now for ArcfieldWeather.com. This has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.